It's that time of the year again. Xbox's annual summer showcase is right around the corner, and that means it's upon us to predict what we think will be at the show. Interestingly, rumors this year have been extremely light, meaning this is the first time in a while we don't know much about what will be at the event. Then consider that they've spent much of April and May dropping showcase-worthy surprises like the Oblivion remaster and Gears of War Reloaded, and it makes you think, what have they got to show this time? Xbox has more or less taken the crown for best annual showcase, as many companies have bowed out of the whole E3 style event. With a slew of already announced titles, many studios quietly working on what they have next, and guaranteed third-party partners and Game Pass deals, we expect June 8th to yet again be another big day for Team Green. As usual, we've split our predictions, and these are all just that, predictions, into 3 categories. Games we essentially know that will almost certainly be there, games we think have a pretty high chance of being there, and games we'd love to see there, whether it's realistic or not. Now, without further rambling, let's dive into the XboxEra Xbox Games Showcase 2025 predictions. Games we know. The Outer Worlds 2. This is the 3rd year in a row where Xbox will attach a secondary show to their overall showcase. A direct that focuses especially on one upcoming highly anticipated title. In 2023, it was Starfield. In 2024, it was Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and this year it's The Outer Worlds 2 from Obsidian Entertainment. This acclaimed RPG studio is on a roll, just recently releasing the well-received Avowed back in February. The Outer Worlds 2 is a sequel to the critically acclaimed The Outer Worlds, which was released just around the time of Xbox's acquisition of Obsidian. We've already gotten some gameplay snippets and details about the game which showcase just how much the sequel's aiming to improve off the first one. We expect to see in-depth gameplay and developer interviews and a release date confirmed for later this year. Call of Duty. Rumors abound that this year's Call of Duty is, once again, more of the expand-alone type, similar to Modern Warfare 3 a few years ago. Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming reported that it is set to be a sequel to Black Ops 2, taking place in the near future. A big part of the multiplayer will be remastered versions of the maps from Black Ops 2, though we'll have to wait and find out if it's shown here, or left for a July reveal like the series used to have. Ninja Gaiden 4. A few years after our own Nick Baker leaked it, Platinum Games was confirmed to be making a new Ninja Gaiden. The game was a surprise announcement at this year's Xbox Developer Direct back in January. Featuring Platinum's signature look in combat, it's set to release later this year, so will we get a big gameplay blowout? Well, we reckon so. Day 1 on Game Pass. It's been tradition for the last several years that Xbox makes the vast majority of the games featured on the showcase to be available via their subscription service. And they've been pretty good at that promise for the most part, so it's not unreasonable to basically expect the same thing this time around too. Games we expect. Microsoft have so much already announced, it's kind of insane. Any of the below games we mention here are likely a shoo-in to appear at the show, be it with a new first gameplay reveal or a final release window being given. Heck, it wouldn't surprise us to see all of these in some fashion. Gears of War E-Day. It'd be pretty surprising if we didn't see Gears of War E-Day at the show. The game was announced at last year's showcase, and the Coalition have been silent ever since. All reports and rumors suggest the game is coming out next year in 2026, with some insiders initially believing the game could have released this year. The Coalition have been cooking for a long time, and we think it's finally time to see the game in action with actual gameplay and a release year of 2026. State of Decay 3. Another game from Xbox that has been in the works for quite a while. The game was announced back in 2020, and it wasn't until 2024 until we saw anything more. It feels like it's high time to get a true look at gameplay as well as a release window. We're leaning towards 2026, but that's just a gut feeling. State of Decay has the potential to be a massive franchise. The zombie open world genre is huge but simultaneously feels untapped, as there hasn't really been a game that's fully fulfilled the post-apocalyptic fantasy. Can State of Decay 3 finally be that game? We'll have to wait and see, but we certainly hope so. Contraband. Yes, that's right. I'm not sure if you remembered, but this game still exists. Little is known about this car-focused PvPvE title. It was originally shown years ago in the days of promissory Xbox game showcases. A CGI trailer with a catchy tune is all we've seen of this game for years, but it really feels like it's about time to finally get a full reveal on this Xbox Game Studios published title. Everwild. Everwild stunned with an initial trailer when the game was announced back in 2019, 6 years ago. The art style and usual rare flair gave fans hope that the studio was on track to create something unique once again. Coming up to 6 years this fall since the game was announced, we know about as much now as we knew back then. They've gone quiet, with very few updates from official sources about its development. We can infer from various reports that the game has undergone reboots and leadership changes, but recent word suggest that the game is now steady, and we have a feeling we may hear from the game soon. As soon as next week? Hopefully. Fable. Fable was supposed to launch later this year, but was recently delayed into 2026. If the game didn't see a delay, it would undoubtedly be at the showcase, but we're not so sure. If Fable is to show up, it would have to have a meaningful chunk of gameplay, as we've already had 2 story trailers interspersed with snippets of in-game footage. But what we really want to see is a few minutes of unedited gameplay that represents what the end product will look like. Xbox may choose to hold off on showing this until next year, but for a game as big as Fable, it may be worth it to remind players that it's still on track and still aiming to release soon. Perfect Dark. A reboot of a rare classic, this new take on Perfect Dark is being developed by The Initiative and Crystal Dynamics. We were treated to some breathtaking gameplay for the first time last year. So will we see a little more, and perhaps if we're lucky, a 2026 release window? Sure would be nice. Clockwork Revolution. inXile showed off Clockwork Revolution 2 years ago. Featuring a steampunk aesthetic, this full-on RPG is a dream for fans of the company. After the incredible work they put in with Wasteland 3, the move to a first-person title without budgetary issues has us extremely hyped for more info, proper gameplay footage, and a release window. Double Fine. Double Fine hasn't had much to say since Psychonauts 2, but as they're now celebrating 20 years of existing, we've got high hopes that they've been hard at work at something awesome, and we can't wait to see what Tim Schafer and the team have been cooking up. And no, we don't think it's Psychonauts 3. Not yet anyways. More announcements for rival consoles. Anyone hoping to not see a competitor's logo, i.e. PlayStation and Nintendo, during the Xbox Summer Showcase better buckle up and brace for disappointment, because you can be assured it's going to happen. As per our interview with Phil earlier this year, it was discussed for last year's showcase but didn't happen for technical/timing reasons. We expect they'll have sorted those out this time around. As for what they'll announce, we'll put good money on some DLC for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and perhaps Starfield will finally head over to PS5 to align with some new DLC for everyone else. Live service game updates. Microsoft is no stranger to bringing their own long-running games as a service titles to showcases, and who can blame them? With millions and millions of eyeballs on their show, it's a great way to get people to hop on and check out the major amounts of content the game have loaded up on over their decade-plus runtimes. The Elder Scrolls Online, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, Fallout 76, Age of Empires, etc, etc. Don't be surprised if at least 2 of these games pop up for a couple of minutes. Third-party partners. Xbox has a great eye for good-looking third-party games, and we expect this showcase to be no different. Beyond showcasing new entries from big publishers like EA, Ubisoft, and more, we're all sort of desperate for some updates on games that have seen some delays, be it the fantastic-looking Replaced, or the much desired Hollow Knight Silksong. Games we hope for. It's okay to dream, so dream we shall. While some of these are certainly possible, they're not exactly likely. The Elder Scrolls 6. Starfield, Bethesda Game Studios' last released, will be going on 2 years old. The engine upgrade work done for that should help the Elder Scrolls 6 take less time in active development. Will that mean we'll get a full proper tease or even reveal this year? The rumors are flying. Lots of in-the-know people are predicting it may show up, and we can only hope that it does. Final Fantasy. No comment. Forza Horizon. Actually, you know what? While Final Fantasy VII may continue to elude us, Square has shown and said that they're moving away from platform exclusivity, meaning surely this is the year we get the franchise back on Xbox. Right? Forza Horizon 6. We haven't had a new Forza Horizon title since 2021, when the extremely successful Forza Horizon 5 first launched. Now sitting with nearly 50 million players, it feels like the time could be right to finally see a new iteration of the franchise. What gives us pause is how Playground Games, now a 2-team studio, have been full steam ahead on Fable that entire time. Is Fable holding back development on Forza Horizon? We may never know for sure, but the formally bi-yearly release cadence has us jonasing for more. Banjo-Kazooie. Just look, it's an easy thing to make happen, Xbox, right? I mean, just do it. Just do it already. Halo CE Remake. Tom Warren, senior editor over at The Verge, reported on some information he'd gathered on Halo as part of his ongoing Notepad subscription series. In it, he wrote, "One game that is being considered for release on PS5 is Halo, though. Sources tell me Microsoft is working on some form of a Halo combat-involved remaster that's also being considered for rival consoles. I don't expect Microsoft to announce this during the showcase, as it's early days for this remaster." Obviously, that was back in 2024, So is 2025 Showcase a time to reveal the next iteration? Maybe. There are also rumors that this year's HCS Worlds in October will have another big announcement. Last year, that's where they announced the studio name change and the switch to Unreal Engine. If so, we may not see the chief next week, but we might see him later this year. A greater push into Eurasian gaming. A place that Microsoft has traditionally struggled with is being able to attract EMEA and SEA developers to the Xbox platform without having to go out of their way to contact the developers themselves. While it's not out of the realm of possibility to expect 1 or 2 titles from the region, Microsoft have a lot of work ahead of themselves to woo these game makers to Xbox, and we'd really love to see day-and-date releases of games that have and will go on to become great successes from these regions. Especially since they're a hotbed of incredible talent that have already and will continue to make their way to the front stage of the gaming industry. Maybe Black Myth Wukong finally shows up? Hardware. Remember when they pre-announced Project Scorpio, aka the Xbox One X? What if they were to do that this year, but instead finally lift the lid on their vision for what console gaming could be? Now, we admit, it'll probably just be the Asus partnered Xbox Raga Lite 2, or a controller, but any indication on the actual direction of what's next for Xbox, rather than a collection of rumors and conjecture, would be sorely appreciated by Xbox fans the world over. Especially now that we've all heard that the native first-party handheld side of things is on the back burner. For now. So there you have it. That's our hit list of educated guesses and wild hopes and dreams for this year's summer showcase. Do you think we're right, or have we missed something very obvious? Do you have other Hail Marys of your own? Let us know in the comments below, or make some noise over in our community Discord. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy what we do, please subscribe to the channel to get more Xbox-centric videos. And if you really like what we do, head over to patreon.com/XboxEra and support us directly. Every little bit helps. Thank you for watching. See you next time.